Hey everybody, welcome to our Monday sales meeting and excited to go over a couple of things with you. Keep it short to the point, very clear, and want to make sure you guys understand what it takes to be successful. A big part of that is accountability, right? So for any of us, which is all of us, that have at one point or at time in their life decided, hey, I'm getting back in shape. I'm going to the gym. Show of hands, have you guys ever gone back to the gym to get back in shape by yourself? And then whether it was, and what I mean by that, it's like, hey, I just go to the gym like whenever, right? And you try to have a plan, but you go to the gym, and whether it's 30 days or 3 months, you just find yourself fizzling out and then you kind of quit. Anybody ever been there in their lifetime? Okay. Now, conversely, have any of you guys decided I'm going to pay the money? I'm going to get maybe a trainer, or I'm going to get into a system, right? Like, some of these ones that are out there where you CrossFit, where you become part of a community. And a big part of that success is the accountability, right? Then you get into this community and all of a sudden you explode. Your goals just go through the roof and you see the results and you see everything you need. Have any of you guys been there? Yeah? Okay. That's what Mondays are all about. Guys, you can do this business without having to be beholden to me. You have to come up in a group setting and say, I didn't do crap last week. And you kind of face the firing squad to a degree, right? You can do this business. Will you be very successful? Probably not. Okay. So there is a certain amount of accountability that we want to have. But guys, ultimately what we want is we want to have an environment of accountability, right? When you go into your gyms, right, and you're in that place, you're in the zone, there's accountability everywhere all day long, right? I mean, you probably have friends that you go to the gym with that are like social media friends of yours, and like you even think twice sometimes, like, crap, I shouldn't post this because I'm going to get crap about it tomorrow when I get to the gym, because they can be like, why were you eating that? Or, just things like that. And it's not, I want you guys to understand that accountability is not a bad thing. It's absolutely an incredible thing, right? And so that's what Mondays are going to be about: accountability to ourselves, right? To one another, but ultimately to your business and to your goals. I think it's absolutely essential. Okay, we will spend some time as well doing some development, some mindset, some personal philosophies, just a lot of really cool things. So today, what I want to talk about before we get into it is the power of your subconscious mind. Guys, this was a huge game changer for me. And I'll be honest, as a Christian, as a believer, when I started hearing people talk about the power of the subconscious mind, I kind of really quickly just kind of flipped the switch to off, because I was like, these guys are these weird kind of vibey juju kind of people, and I'm good, man. Like, I don't need to listen to that. But as I started really trying to absorb and receive what they were talking about, I actually just used my own discernment to kind of like sift out and weed out some of the stuff that's kind of vibey and juju-y and, weird new age stuff. And I was able to really just find something like a middle ground that was really set well with what I believe, but at the same time, I could take a lot of these concepts and do really well with them. So what is the power of the subconscious mind, or what is your subconscious mind? So your subconscious mind, guys, is literally just that quiet voice that you say and you speak to yourself all day long. You are talking to yourself constantly, whether you know it or not. And some of us actually answer when we speak to ourselves. I know I do. Best example, I'm at the golf course and I'm golfing with four guys, right? And it's like my turn to hit. So everybody's there. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to myself. Like, okay, relax, low backswing, keep your head down, follow through, turn your hips, take a deep breath. And actually, one of the things I say to myself a lot is be an athlete, dude. Just be an athlete. Just relax. Just be an athlete. That's my pre-shot subconscious talking to myself, right? And then after I shoot, there's a whole different type of conversation that I'm usually having with myself. Like there's probably some expletives that I'm yelling at myself in my head, like what a freaking lame, you're a loser, you idiot, right? Am I the only one? Maybe it's just in golf, but do you have somewhere in your life where you're like, oh, you stupid, what are you doing, right? That is subconscious talk. And this is a little bit more where you're like conscious having this conversation. But guys, we're having these subconscious conversations with ourselves all the time. And when we realize that first, right, the second thing you have to understand is that subconscious talk is extremely powerful as well, right? You're constantly saying either negative or positive things to yourself. And who is the person that hears everything that you say to yourself? You. We hear everything that we say to ourselves, right? And so I had a mentor that said, it all starts with one question, right? How is your subconscious mind related to your success in business? And he started saying, you start by understanding that your subconscious mind is a place from which you are like personally connected to every single situation, every single thought process, which your thoughts become your actions, right? And so you can control what type of information you impress into your subconscious in a number of ways, right? Who do you hang around with? What type of things do you watch on TV? Do you watch TV at all? What type of music do you listen to, right? Do you listen to music at all? Do you listen to podcasts? What type of podcasts do you listen to, right? And so it is an ever, constant journey or focus to protect what you have coming into your mind, right? One of my mentors used to say, garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you're struggling to get your business off the ground, I've been there 1,000 times and I'll probably be there next week, right? And what I mean by that is it just happens. It happens to the best of us. So the main focus is to work on seeing a positive, progressive picture of any situation that you're in, right? Constantly. And there's a couple of points that you can do to actively make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to be there. So tap in to asking yourself. Number one is asking yourself deep, integrating questions. Like go as deep as you can. Like, do I really think that I can be successful in this business? Right? Am I really willing to do whatever it takes? Or am I simply just trying to make some money here and there? Right? And ask yourself those questions, because when you ask yourself those questions, you're going to get those answers. And then when you get those answers, what you have to do is start to decide whether or not you can actually do something about, the answer that you get, right? So, and then affirm these statements with language that will help you to realize that you can be successful. So number one is ask yourself deep questions regarding whatever it is you're thinking about. Number two is that your belief is one of the most important aspects of success. Have you guys ever heard a story of somebody that maybe they were like terminal with cancer, and all of a sudden they just got like this little grain or shred of hope? And all of a sudden they were able to fight back or prolong for years and years and years before they passed on. And then when somebody who's actually better off than that person kind of internally quits, they just spiral down fast, right? Hope is a big deal, guys. And hope is very closely related to belief, right? So as you put an emphasis on beliefs, really start to try to like be as powerful with your belief systems and your hopes. And that comes from being in these meetings. Iron sharpens iron, because I think that there are some of us on the call right now who have an incredibly high belief in what we're doing. And some of us right now are just barely trying to hang on to the belief. You're probably already rationalizing or telling yourself why you can't do this. Oh, well, they can do that because of X, Y, and Z, but I can't because of this and that. I've heard people say Well, I live in California. The leads just suck in California. You don't have to raise your hand, but I know this. I know because I've had conversations with you. I know there's some of you that believe that on this call. Okay. I also know that some people believe that the leads are better in Texas. I know because I've had these conversations with you. Guys, leads are leads no matter what. Yes. Are there some leads that might, based on data or even timing, be a little bit more higher converting than others? Yeah, probably. I mean, if you're selling annuities, and I'm from LA, so I grew up in Whittier, just 2 stones throw away from East LA. The likelihood of me finding $1 million rollover is probably a lot higher in Prosper, Texas, than it is in Whittier, California. I get that, okay? And that's just the demographics of the area and the type of income that the people make. That doesn't mean that you can't be successful wherever you're getting leads or wherever you're buying them, okay? So very important to have hope and belief. And this is how you can start to train that subconscious mind. Number 3 is envision success. How many of you know exactly what success looks like for you? I used to have a mentor, a coach, really. I didn't know him personally. Patty might know him personally. Patty, do you remember Brian Sachs?
Yes, I do.
Do you guys know him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you guys know him personally? Like friends with him?
I bet a few times.
So he used to do this training, and it was literally a guy. He was a senior vice president at a company. I mean, just a beast. Like he's a guy that would run like marathons and just a super uber overachiever. And he was holding a 3-day conference, and everybody was going. And then I realized that it was just him talking for 3 days, and I'm like, how on God's green earth is one man going to hold like 500 people's attention for like 3 days straight? And then you get there, and it's just a chair on a stage and Brian talking. And have you ever been to any one of those, Patty?
No, but he's an engineer, so he's very numbers oriented, and that guy's just like very black and white.
Yeah. And he would do this exercise where he would literally cut the lights out. So we're sitting in this room pitch black, and then he would ask you to shut your eyes, right? And it was funny because he used to do it early, because if he did it late after lunch, people would legit fall asleep. And he would walk you through. He'd say, how many of you want to buy a dream home one day, right? Everybody raise their hand. And he would walk you through this, like, okay, so let's say you opened your eyes and you are in your bed. What do you see straight above you, right? Do you have a ceiling fan? Or do you have this incredible, like, innate, like, I forget what they're called, with the lamps on them or whatever. And he's like, okay, now what color is the ceiling fan? Is there lights on it, right? And he would just, and then he goes, okay, now you turn over and you put your feet down. Are you sliding into slippers? What type of slippers are they? Right? And I mean, it was, by the time it was done, I never had a more crystal clear vision of what type of home I wanted, what type of things that I was going to get. And I just share that because it was something that I started to do as an exercise, right? Guys, you're never going to get somewhere from a business perspective, from a lifestyle perspective, if you don't spend time envisioning it, right? I used to work at a corporate company, and I was in sales. I worked there with Priscilla. I worked there with Tony. And one of my mentors used to say, if there's something in your cubicle that draws your attention away from your goals for the day, they need to come out. So I remember sitting in an empty cubicle for the first year. Like I literally had a cup with pins, a notebook, and a picture of my family. That was it. Because he said, if there's anything that draws you away from your goals, you won't be successful. He said, only fill that place with things that are going to draw you and focus you on your success, right? And so if you want to be successful, you guys have to be that intentional. What does success look like for you? Number 4, guys, is you have to power yourself forward no matter what. Guys, business as a self-employed person is hard, okay? I mean, I would venture to say if you opened up a nail salon, it's going to be hard because it's your own business. But when you're in sales, it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different animal. I had a friend of mine, when I finally started making enough money to do this thing at my own. Now, this is just my family dynamic, so I don't say this to judge anybody else. But for me to make it, two things had to happen. Number one is I retired my wife. Okay. Because I know a lot of guys who say, hey, I'm a full-time yada yada, but their wife works a full-time job and probably makes more than them. That doesn't count, in my opinion. That's just me. This is my family dynamic. So my wife had to retire first. I did that. Check that box. But the second thing was this. If you make $50,000 a year in your job and then you replace your income, it's $50,000 a year. To me, when somebody was like, dude, did you hear Tony is not working corporate anymore because he replaces income doing this side business that he's doing? Really? Why is that so significant? Well, dude, Tony made 180 grand a year. So would you agree that it means a lot more if you make a lot more and you replace that income, right? Absolutely. So when I first made enough money to basically be on my own, and I also was the sole earner in my home, I remember I had a friend of mine, Tony, you know him, his name's Jojo. And we were talking one day and he was just like staring at me. And I was like, what's up, bro? And he goes, I'm just tripping right now. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, let me ask you a question. So technically, you don't know when your next check is coming. Like technically, you have no idea. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, there's no like 1st and 15th. Like, no, I just, you grind. He was like, I would literally have a heart attack. I'd be having anxiety all day, every day. Like I couldn't live in that space. Right. And it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of grit and affirmations and powerful and positive language every single day, all day to live in that space, guys. So power yourself forward no matter what. And the key to doing that is to speak positivity into your life, right? Affirm that you can do this. Affirm that you have the skill set. Affirm that you have the tools and the and the gumption and the balls to do it, okay? Number 5 is don't forget the power of limitless belief. That's another thing, guys. What would you guys accomplish if you believed you couldn't fail, right? What would you accomplish if you believe you couldn't fail? Failure is a massive hindrance to success. I know people, have you guys ever read the book Good to Great? I highly recommend that you get this book. It's called Good to Great. Matter of fact, I might read it again. It's been years. The premise of the book is this. The biggest enemy of being great is being good. Most people would rather just be good than push forward and become great. Why? Because greatness is always associated with an increased failure, like increased risk. An example would be this. So let's say there's 1 second left in the game. Okay, we're on game 7, NBA Finals, and our team has the ball. And I look at Eddie, and I say, hey man, like Eddie, do you want to take this last shot? Like, they're up by 2, so we're down by 2. We need a 3-pointer. Eddie has 2 decisions. Give it to me. Let's go. Like, I'm down. Let's go. Eddie can be the GOAT, the hero, sink that bucket, or he can be there you go. He could be the GOAT and sink that bucket, or say, no, go ahead, brother. You're hot. Why would Eddie decide to take a step back? Well, because he had a triple-double. He had a solid game, and he's not willing to be, the failure. And so the idea, the whole premise of the book is that so many people get satisfied with being good that they'll never even try to become great, because by becoming great, you have to receive or take on a certain amount of risk and failure, right? And that's massive. There's a reason why the Kobe Bryants of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, the Tom Brady's of the world, Tiger Woods of the world are like, I got it. Let's go. Don't matter what happens, right? I'm built different. Let's go. But Kobe, you could miss, if you guys remember, Kobe's rookie season in the playoffs, coming down to the wire in Utah, he had 4 air balls in a row. Like, and people were like, but he kept shooting because he was always willing to be great, right? So limitless belief is extremely powerful. Number 6, guys, is train your focus on your goals, right? Everything is about where you want to be. Focus on your goals. If I hit like unmute right now, I should click on that and say, Joey, how many apps do you want to take this month, and how many commissions do you want, right? What's your goal for commissions? What's your goal for APN? And you should know that. If you don't, why not, right? Like Patty. I always use Patty because she's just a freak. If you guys show her on social media, she's an animal in the gym. I guarantee you she knows what her goals are, probably for tomorrow. Why? Because in the setting that she works out in, they publish their workouts all week, right? So she knows what's going on tomorrow, and she's probably thinking back to the last time they did these workouts, and she's like, crap. All right, this is my goal for tomorrow. Already thinking about it. That's why she's successful. Are we that dialed in with our business? Should we be? Absolutely, right? So number 6 is train yourself to focus on your goals. And 7, guys, is believe in the power of now. Gosh dang it. That could be the one and only one we talk about, right? If you feel stuck due to some losses or challenges and you find it overwhelming, you have to get yourself unstuck fast, no matter what it is. You have to figure out a way to find a victory, right? I've been there where you just can't catch a break. Like it feels like the ball is always bouncing in the opposite direction. Find a way to get a victory today. Not tomorrow, not Friday, today. What's a victory? Mario, I don't have anything in the pipeline. None. Okay? But damn it, today I'm going to get a referral. I will not go to bed until I get a referral today. Where? I don't know. I have no clue, but I'm going to do it. Whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, at the gym, the mall, I'm going to find a referral today. Get yourself unstuck now. The power of now is so important. Okay. I've heard people say that, I'll start tomorrow is the same thing that you said yesterday. I'll do it tomorrow is the same thing that you said the day before. So it's extremely important, guys, that you always do these things now. Okay. Because believe it or not, and the older you get, the more you know, time moves too fast. How many of you guys are tripping that it's July already? I can't even believe it, right? I'm going to be 44 this year. That's freaking crazy, okay? I've known Eddie since we were 14. And dude, how in the world are we 44, dude? Eddie's a grandpa, for Christ's sake. I could easily be a grandpa too right now. But that's the idea, guys. This moves so fast. And there is no holding back. There is no next quarter. There is no next month. If you want to win, you got to win now. Because you're going to be 54. I'm going to be 54 like that. And I'm going to be like, damn, I had this opportunity. I've been pissing around with this thing, right? And the other piece to this puzzle before we go into our numbers and finish out, guys, I was talking to my kids yesterday, and I said, listen, I fear it's going to get worse. And I know it's going to get worse because this is what the Word of God says. But in their life, my little ones, they've already gone through a pandemic, okay? And they have now had an assassination attempt on a president. I was like, dude, the last assassination attempt was in 1981, right? Some of you weren't alive. I was one, okay? They've already had an assassination attempt and a pandemic. The last pandemic was what? In like the 1900s, 1910 something. And so the idea that there's some tumultuous things going on right now is actually a very good thing for us in business. Okay. Because the insurance industry provides safety. Right. And again, this is not a matter of, are you a right red person or a left blue person or right down the middle? You have to know that anytime there's elections, there's choppy waters, right? Because money is power. And everything that is up for grabs right now is power. Not just power politically, but power in government. Like, would you guys agree that there's probably some big, massive corporations that want one opponent or another? Yeah. In every country, there's 40 elections going on this year alone. Did you guys know that? 40. There's a lot of power up for grabs in the world right now. So what does that mean for us? That means that our clientele needs to know that they are probably sitting in the most tumultuous time they will ever be in. So the market, there's so much inflation, it's ridiculous. Do you know that? Are you studying that? Well, Mario, I just sell life insurance. No, you got to understand everything, right? Because the reason somebody gets life insurance is because of fear. Okay. Bottom line, because of fear. I think they like to think it's wisdom because, like, oh, I want to protect my family. Yeah, but you're afraid that there won't be coverage for your family. Bottom line. Okay. So the market is way high. Inflation is out of control. Okay. You've got wars everywhere. Okay. You've got 40 elections worldwide. You just had an assassination attempt, right? Guys, it couldn't get any better for us to be able to sink our teeth in there and bring some type of stability, bring some type of, hey, listen, I've got an answer for you. Let me get you protected. Let me put your money in a place that can't lose, right? Whether it's in a participating whole life product or in an IUL, right? Or hey, let me get you protected, man. Yeah, my grandma died when COVID happened and we didn't have enough money to take care of her. Cool, we've got final expense policies, right? So all that being said, guys, is you should be excited to be in this position with the tools that you have right now, okay? That said, one final thing in tools, I was on the phone with Arno on Friday, and he let me know that some of you guys know this. When we went to the event, how many of you guys were with us in Glendale at their event, at APIM's event? Remember they showed us that technology? Let me pull it up here. He called it the Think Life platform, okay? They were telling us that it was going to be available in December. They're looking at mid to late July. So it could be any time now because it's July 15th, right? So it gives us the ability to and through this platform. It's a CRM, okay? So you can basically input all your leads there and manage them. It also connects with like Calendly. It's also a lead generation tool, so you can actually do some lead vending and generating of leads through there. There's a lot of customer service capabilities. So once your leads are added in, you can send out birthday cards, you can do all kinds of different things, mad drip campaigns.